watching the Crypto Market Update with your host, Chris Marshall, your home for the latest crypto news, reviews, and updates that can be found around the block. If this is your first time here, then we would like to thank you for watching. If you enjoy the show, please like, subscribe, and share with anyone that you believe needs this type of content in their life. Just a reminder, anything discussed on this show is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. With that out of the way, let's get on with the show.
Good morning. Welcome everyone to today's crypto market forecast. Today's show, we have not many events going on. Mostly what I want to talk about is what the market is doing today and how it might play out over the coming week. I'm your host, Chris Marshall. And with that, let's take a look at today's sponsor, OTEC, Ocala's Blockchain Crypto and Technology Innovation Council. They meet every single Tuesday. And this is the last month that they're doing just networking meetups. Next month they're starting a whole course of different stuff. They're going to do educational content during one night. They're going to cover project fundamentals another night, all sorts of stuff. Go check them out at www.facebook.com/Ocala Tech Council. I believe this month they are still meeting up at Juniper General Store. So if you're in Ocala and into tech or software, go check them out. All right, with that out of the way, let's take a look at what is going on inside the markets because it is a doozy today. First, let's go ahead and take a look at the overall market cap. We're sitting at $1.882 trillion. We've fallen well back below that $2 trillion market cap. Well, maybe not well below, but we are definitely below it now. In the last 24 hours, we've seen $88 billion in transactions across the market. Bitcoin's dominant, sitting at 41.5% and ETH at 19.5%. Gas is at 62 GUI already today, and I bet that's because some people might be getting liquidated or having some of their positions stop lost. And yeah, so things are being sold, probably trying to hedge against what may be happening in the market today. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the top coins. Pretty much everything is down this morning and over the last week, not looking great. Is anything in the green besides stable coins? Monero over the week still has a little bit, not much. Lots of stuff down. Wow, waves down almost 50%. Let's see. Zilliqa is up actually for the day, still down for the week quite a bit. Steppen, don't know what that really is, so not sure why that's up. That's another stable coin. Kyber Network Crystals version 2. It's pretty interesting. I wonder when they put out version 2, if that's up because it's been upgraded now. Yeah, but everything else pretty much down, all the major ones. All right, let's move on to the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Today sitting at a 32. Last week we actually saw pretty neutral rating. We got back up into the 50s and quickly came back down out of that. Still not where we were last month, but if we continue the way we're going as we were this morning, I think it'll get a little bit more fearful. Let's take a look at the charts. All right, so as we can see, last night we started selling off. Let's go a little bit. Let's go to the 4-hour here. So this here was this was pretty much last night. Yesterday evening time, if you're here in the States, saw a good amount of sell-off, probably as some of the Asian markets were opening, and into early this morning, midnight to 4 o'clock, probably, well, no, this would be in Oh, when was this? This is 8 o'clock. Yes, this. Yeah, that would have been 4 o'clock or early morning U.S. time, not quite midnight. So got quite a bit of selling off here over the last couple days. Let's go back into the daily. I want to show you just a few things here on Bitcoin before we move over to Ethereum. As you know, if you've been following this page, I've been tracking Ethereum and what it's been doing a lot. But a lot of it is based off of what Bitcoin is doing as well. Pretty much everything follows Bitcoin, right? So, got to look at Bitcoin first. So we can see we're still at the bottom side of this overall channel that we've been following for a while. From its recent, well, all-time highs, actually. We were in this downward channel. We broke through back in early February, and we have started an upward channel since then. This formation is typically called a bearish flag pattern. So what we would expect to see is a stop, and eventually we would fall back below this bottom line and continue a new leg downward, which is completely possible. It's not for sure, I'm not exactly certain what percentage of the time one of these form a new bottom leg actually starts. But here's one thing that I wanted to show you. Ever since that first all-time high back in, when was this? Let's get that out of the way. Back in, what, April of 21? Ever since then, every time we had this 200-day EMA cross the 200-day moving average SMA, shortly after we had the bottom or a recent bottom or a recent top. So the 200 EMA crossed the 200-day SMA or MA. That's what mine shows. A couple days later, we had the bottom all the way down here at the 28. Eventually, we crossed back over here in October. A couple days later, we had the all-time high. And then again, a little while later, we crossed yet again January. We notice that within a couple days of that, we had the newest recent time bottom. So we have not crossed yet. So I don't think that we have seen the top of this market yet, or this current cycle. If this correlation between these two lines continues, and this is not guaranteed that this continues. You can see way back here that it didn't cross at all. So this is just a pattern that has been playing out since April 21-ish. So if this pattern continues to play out, we would want to see that this yellow line basically crosses the orange line, and that may indicate the new top for the current leg up before it starts to fall back down. We've not seen that yet. The other thing that I'm looking at is I've been expecting this to fall back down to the bottom of the channel. I also think that we're going to see quite a bit of support here at the $40,000 level. That's a psychological support line, or a mental support line, emotional support line. Once we get to around that level, there's going to be people who are like, no, Bitcoin is definitely worth more than $40,000, or there'll be people who think it's less than $40,000. And there'll be a big war, probably high volume, to see which one of those mentalities, I guess, plays out. It's actually confirmed. I think if we do see a fall below the $40,000 range, we'll definitely come back to the bottom of this channel here. And it may just act exactly like these other two did, where it was just a wick down on the daily chart and still a close above this major support line here. Which, if this kind of played out over a while, I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happened, where we came down over the next few days to about here, wick down and immediately shot back up. Oop, don't want that one. That I wouldn't be too surprised of. Whether or not it does that, we'll see. But having a few days of holding this $40,000 level and then a quick wick down to test to see if people are actually going to sell and panic is probably not that far off. Again, not financial advice, so it's just what the charts are kind of telling me and what I'm looking at. Now let's move on to Ethereum. Over the last, I don't even know how long, since, March 16th, we started looking at this. I kind of found this correlation between what Bitcoin was doing back in February after it broke out of its downward channel and what Ethereum was doing about a month and a half later. So I'm kind of the mind that we are following behind Bitcoin by about a month and a half. And so if we look back here at early Bitcoin, we'd see that we came up and we fought to stay above this. We had the exact price movement up that I thought we would, which was all the way up to here, this 3600 range, and we did come up and touch the top of this just about 3584 or so. What was that actual high? 3581 was the high. And after that, I was expecting a fall. So we came up, and I'm expecting this fall. That was where the correlation kind of ended for me, and I've been watching two major levels. I was fairly certain we were going to fall and at least retest this 3200 range. And then the other one that I was looking for was a test of this center line. So when I follow these channels, there's usually a lot of support and resistance depending on what side of the channel you're on at this center line. And so we came down and we touched, I assumed we were going to touch this at least once. And we're kind of in a crucial moment now. So we could either see this be kind of a shakeout of some weak hands in the market, and we'll start moving back up from here. This is just a chance to try to liquidate some people, which is completely possible. We'll move up from here now. Or over the next few days, we cannot maintain this $3,000 level. I really think 30.45 is kind of the level that we need to be holding. If we can't hold 30.45, I don't think 30.45, I don't think 3,000 is going to hold for very long. So that's kind of the levels that I'm looking at, and the price ranges that I'm looking at. If we do break below it, I'm looking at probably the bottom of this channel. You're looking at least for the next major support line to be probably this green line, this $2,600 level. I would imagine we will eventually fall to the $2,600 level. If we were to draw that out on the chart, it's probably going to look something like, something like that, ending about where this $2,600 level connects and touches the bottom side of this channel, this upward channel. So that all kind of plays out with this overall larger channel. I think my lines would move. Make sure my upper lines are good still. Yeah, they're still good. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm looking and watching play out. We can get rid of this box now. We saw exactly where it was going to go up to, and I have a bunch of TikToks and YouTube videos, showing you all how I thought, showing you my thought process over the last few weeks. So I'm going to delete that now. We don't need to worry about that. I can also delete this line as well. So this is what we're watching over this week. I'm waiting to see what happens with this $3,000 level. depending on what happens, we're either going to see about 2,600 or we're going to go back up and revisit the top of this channel, which could put us at, somewhere around in the short time, 3,600, 3,700 maybe, somewhere around in there. I would also be expecting us to bounce off of this 200-day moving average. So we broke below the 200-day EMA for support. So that's no longer going to act as support. It may act as resistance. But other than that, just kind of waiting to see what happens over this week. Some of the events that are going to be playing out this week may have an effect on it, but probably not too much. It'll be things that kind of happen over the week that we don't know about that are probably going to play the biggest effect on the market. And that's why you got to come and watch Friday's episodes as well, so that you can see what happened in the past week. Not just watch Monday episodes so that you only see what's coming up, because there's usually most of the events that have an effect on the market are the ones we don't know about, the surprise ones. So with that said, let's move on to some of our stories. So first, let's take a look at the economic calendar. There's not a ton that's super going to be important for the crypto market. Specifically, it'll probably affect the financial market, which usually has an effect on the crypto market, but not directly affecting the crypto market. If anything does have an actual effect, is some of the stuff with the New York Fed inflation numbers. And anytime any of these Fed presidents speak. The other thing that is going to be interesting to watch is probably this deficit number, the federal budget deficit. I want to know how far we actually are in our budget. The way that they've been printing money, I don't know. I bet but that's why there's not even a forecast number on here, because I bet it's pretty bad. This one here also. So Richmond Fed President Tom Barkin speaks to money marketeers. So that'll be interesting to see if they bring up anything about USDCs, or not USDC, CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, or stable coins. I'll be interested to see if they bring any of that stuff up in this speech. Other than that, not a ton that's going to be super important. Other than, like I said, the effect that they might have on the financial market in general. All right, let's move on to crypto-centered events. This week it's pretty much a slow week. Two main things, and they actually start today. This is the Paris NFT Day and then Wild 3. These are the two events that we're going to take a look at. The Paris Blockchain Week Summit is part of this Paris NFT Day, I do believe. This is all the same event. DevConnect 2022. Just a way for devs to meet up. I believe that's it for the week, or yeah, that's Sunday. We'll look at some of this other stuff next week. It looks like there's going to be some good stuff. We will talk about that next Monday. All right, let's take a look at Wild 3. So this one here's pretty interesting. They got quite a few speakers. One really important speaker that I think is going to be pretty interesting to see if he says anything. But basically, it's just an event around metaverse and NFTs and all that good jazz. Big thing that they have going on is, yes, they got a couple of these guys, these guys with unicorn in their name. The one that I'm super interested in is this gentleman right here, Sandeep, the co-founder of Polygon. Pretty interested to see what he has to say and how he kind of views the market overall. And then this is pretty interesting as well. They have a representative of MasterCard going to be speaking. That's pretty cool. So this could be a pretty interesting summit or event to go to. There's 70 speakers overall, so tons of names all throughout the market. But yeah, other than that, the only other event that we're going to take a look at is Paris NFT Day, which starts tomorrow, I do believe. Yeah. No, I don't want your newsletter. So they're doing everything from like the future of NFTs in the metaverse to understanding what it is, taking a look at the apps and the tech out there already. It's gonna be pretty interesting. I wish I could go to it, but I'm not going out to Paris just for something like this. They have tons of speakers who are gonna be out here. Tons of really cool people. Solana. Who else was coming here? People from Algorand. Yeah, just a lot of people out there going to be doing some pretty cool stuff, I guess, if you're into NFTs in the metaverse. I actually am not. I've never even used like any of those, 3D goggles or whatever you want to call them. Never been inside one, never used it, the HTC Vive or any of that stuff. So have not had a whole lot of experience with it. The other interesting thing about this event is they've partnered with Ripple. Uh, where was that actually at? But Ripple is a partner in this event, not just a speaker. Yeah, and I don't know if it's for the entire event or if they've just like sponsored the official party. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. It's cool to see if you're into Ripple at all or know anything about it. It's interesting to see what's going on in the world around Ripple, the whole lawsuit with the SEC, um, how other countries still utilize it. We're the only country that doesn't because of this SEC lawsuit. So it's pretty interesting to see, events and things happening and being sponsored by Ripple, even though it's under such scrutiny here in the States. So, anyways, with that said, that is it for this show. So, if you found this useful at all, you like the information presented in here, make sure to hit follow and subscribe. Drop a like, drop a comment if there's anything specific you want to learn about in any of the different platforms or projects out there. There's tons just on CoinMarketCap. They're almost up to 19,000 different cryptocurrencies and like 600 exchanges or something like that. So tons of places to interact with crypto out there. I'm pretty excited to see what's going to happen over the coming months. This year, I think is going to be pretty interesting and pivotal for crypto. This is either the year that we kind of see it die or gain probably mass adoption or the start of mass adoption, I guess I should say. I kind of feel like that's the case for 2022. So if you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. Let me know what your views on 2022 and crypto are. With that said, I'm Chris Marshall. This has been your crypto market forecast, and I will see you all Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the crypto market recap, where we go over all the different events that have happened throughout this week, both the known and the unknown, and see what effect they had on the market. With that, see you around.